Today is Monday, it's the 30th of May 2022. This is our 8 a.m. movement snack. So, first opportunity of the day to get those extra movements in. Now, if you're catching up, welcome, good to have you with us. Pop us a comment in, let us know you've been in. Overcast here, I think it's going to rain. So it's true, I think it's going to rain today. The barometer's certainly pointing that way. It's moved across from fair and past, heading towards rain. So we'll see what happens, eh? But if you are on catch up, firstly, as I say, welcome, good to have you with us. Pop us a comment in, let us know what you're doing, where you are, what you're up to, all those sorts of things, yeah? I'm going to leave you there, going to pop across, say hello to people to come on board live. Double t-shirted today, look. Ready to zip out the door to Dawn, good morning to you. Good to have you with us. How's things? I can see that we've got Mrs. Perry in the house as well. Looks like Sandra we've got in the house, and looks like Vivian as well, from the icons that I can see. I've put my iPad, not my iPad, my tripod. I put my tripod a little bit higher, so I don't have to look down my nose to see some of the icons. Christine Perry, good morning to you. You are in the house and you've got Pilates after this. All good with you, Dawn, that's great. Sandra, you, good morning to you. No sun at the moment, no, I think it's the same here, and I think it's going to be like that all day. I think we're going to get some rain, to tell you the truth. But hey, planted a couple of trees yesterday. 2 trees for the Platinum Jubilee. I think that's what the Queen wanted everybody to do, is to plant a tree. So we planted 2. We planted a cherry tree, and we planted a Christmas tree that we bought a few years ago. So we bought a baby Christmas tree, a starter Christmas tree, from where we get our Christmas tree from. The Christmas tree farm, believe it or not. And it had to be in its pot for a year, had to be inside in the winter, couldn't be out in the frost, all that sort of stuff. Then it moved to a bigger pot, and it's been in that pot for 2 years, and it's got out into the soil today. And the idea behind all of this is this will be a Christmas tree that the grandchildren can decorate. So it's in the garden. It's got a prime spot, it's got a spot on its own, so the grandchildren can decorate the Christmas tree in the garden how they want. Vivian Dickinson, good morning to you, everyone, on this rainy Monday. Rainy where you are? Not quite here, but it's gonna be, I think we're gonna get the rain. Good morning, Carol, part of the collective is in the house. I'm just finishing off my cup of tea, bear with me. I'd like to say it's the first cup of tea of the day, but it's not. Cat's having up at 5 o'clock, so 20 past 5 this morning, I'm having a nice cup of tea. And this is my second, but it's still, you know, the one around about this time is always good, isn't it? It's always good. Hello, sunny here at the present in Bristol. That's where we all need to head on down to Bristol. Francis is telling us that it's sunny down in Bristol, so keep hold of it as long as you can, Francis. Enjoy the sun. One more sip of my tea, and then I think we'll get ourselves going, shall we? Oh, that's good. I needed that. Right. Let's get ourselves ready then. So if you want to leave some comments on the bottom of the screen, you can swipe them and they are gone. Like that, you know? If you're on a tablet or a mobile, that is. Of course, if you're on your laptop or you're on a desktop, you can keep the comments in the corner. They'll just chunga away. Chunga, that's the good word, isn't it? Chunta away in the corner, but chunga's good. Right. First things first. Should we have a 3, 2, 1? Okay. Wow. Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Monday. It's the 30th of May 2022. This is our 8 a.m. movement snack. This is where we start the day, snacking as we mean to go on. Right, we can do this in standing, we can do it seated. As you know, the choice is yours. All you got to do is make that choice. In standing, we've got some fixed external support available. In seated, we've got a sturdy, strong chair. Now, let's get ourselves sorted. Nothing in the way that's going to cause me any issues. So nothing on the carpet that I can tread on or anything. Normally I'd be doing this in my socks, as you know, but as I say, I've got to race out of the house straight after this after work. So I'm suited and booted, ready to go. I've got my shoes on. Now, if you're on a carpeted floor, socks, or possibly even bare feet, so you can feel those toes engaging with the floor underneath you. But if you're on a hard surface, it's sensible, comfortable footwear is the order of the day. Right, posture-wise, in standing, we've got our heels in line with our knees in line with our hips. We soften those knees slightly, not bending them, just softening them slightly, so we've got a little bit of shock absorption, if you like, in there. Lift and elevate here. Separating the ribs from the hips, bringing the shoulders up, back, and pressing down so we open that rib cage. In seated, then we need to do all of that alignment as well, but the first thing we've got to do is get ourselves into that working position. To do that, we bring the back away from the chair. We lift and shift. That was my impression of what you might feel like if you get into your working position. We lift and shift to hip walk into the front third of the chair. Here we've got the legs clear of the chair so we can get some good quality movement happening. Lining everything up. Shoulders up, back and pressing down. Let's get started with our circulation booster. So here we start with the feet. We start at the bottom, we work our way up. Bringing those heels off the floor, creating a crease between the ball of the foot and the toes gives us the opportunity here to start to get the circulation boosting. Now once we've started here, we can take this into a march to lift it a little bit taller, bringing the feet off the floor, pointing those toes down. Remembering that in seated, if you get some fatigue into here, rather than lose technique and get this bit of a rock happening, or sit back a bit more, lean back a bit more so you're taking the pressure off your hips, bring it back down into that heel raise. Yeah? Let's add an arm in as well. Just one arm to start off with, driving the elbows backwards, so we've got that movement happening. Now, it's the elbow bent, so it's purposeful, this movement. It's not just a swing of the arm from the shoulder. In seated and in standing, if we're not using support, we change to the other hand. We do exactly the same in standing. If we are using support, we just need to make sure we've always got a hand on the support. So support in front, as long as we've got room for those feet and those knees to come up, hand down, other hand comes off. If your support's to the side, however, unless you've got support on the other side, in which case you can put your hand down and bring the other hand off, you may want to stay on this side a little bit longer. And then lose the arm, make the march a little bit smaller, as many steps as you need to turn to face to the other side. Say hello to Dobbin as we go past. Then once we've turned around, we can bring the arm back in at its full pace. Finally, in seated and standing, if we feel steady and stable, one up both arms, both legs. So we've got more of the body moving, and that means we get more demand on the body. So we're asking the body to work a little bit harder, we're asking the heart to beat a little bit faster. We're probably going to breathe a little bit heavier, but that's what circulation boosting is all about. It's those movements that start to get our body asking for more oxygen. 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Let's start to bring this down. So let's lose the arms. Let's make the march a little bit smaller. Let's bring it back into a heel raise and bring it to a pause. At that point, we should feel as though we want to take a couple of deep breaths. We certainly shouldn't feel out of breath. If we do, next time, bring it down a little bit, make those movements a little bit smaller. Right, let's move into our trio of movements for our top part of our body, from the shoulders up. Base of support here, heels just outside of our hips, knees softened in seated, sitting tall. I'm going to come a little bit closer so we can see what's happening. Shoulders wide, neck stays lengthened, up towards our ears, pressing back down. So we're trying to come back past where we started, lifting and pressing back down. This movement here enables us to get the best range of movement into those shoulders. But keep that neck lengthened, shoulders to ears, not ears to shoulders. Pause there, and then let's take it into a rotation. So forward, lift towards the ears, back past the earlobe, shoulder blades together, and press down. So we get this cyclical motion happening, this circular motion. Now again, slow and controlled, because that's going to enable us to get the best range of motion and make sure we mobilise every part of that shoulder. Once you've done your 4 or 5, pause for a second. Let's take it into our head turn. Now, standing wise, have support available just in case you need it. Turning your head can make you feel a little bit disorientated. Chin level, eyelid level, head to the side, pause in the centre, head the other way. The hand on the chest isn't important. I don't know why I did that. Turn to the side, pause in the centre, turn the other way. Again, not fast movements, but not really, really slow. We shouldn't feel any pain unless we have pain in our neck all the time, in which case no further pain. And if you feel a little disorientated, pause for a moment and have a hold on. Remember that pause in the centre is really important. That's where the body and the system in our head, in our ears, sorts itself out. So hopefully we don't feel any disorientation. Right, 4 or 5 on each side. Once you've done it, pause. We're taking it into the back of the neck, so we're going to lengthen down through here. So fingers on chin, eye line level, come back, pause, and then take it back. Now you can either keep the fingers on the chin, or you can leave the fingers where they are and come back to them. The fingers are a guide. We're not pressing back, we're just using that to make sure the chin stays down, eye line stays level, or we come back to the starting point. From the front, we don't see a great deal happening, but from the side, you could see that we were lengthening down through the back of the neck. We were putting everything back into alignment. 4 or 5 of those is what you're looking for. And this top trio is then done, thinking about things where we move the hands away from the body, and we're constantly turning our head, aren't we? That's why we've mobilised down there. Once you do 4 or 5, take a pause, and let's take it into a circulation booster again. It's a reboost. It's a reboost. If you're a Duran Duran fan. Right, there. That's a reflex. Marching, that's all we're doing. No arms, it's just the lower body. What we want to do is give the body a little bit of a boost. So again, remember, in seated, you've got that option of those heel raises. Just giving the body a bit of a reboost before we head from our top trio down into this area here, into our trunk. Trunk, really important. We're forever turning, aren't we? We don't go in one direction all the time. We turn to the side, we see what's happening. We put our seatbelts on, we get dressed, all these sorts of things. Trunk's involved in that, but it's just involved in keeping us upright as well, whether we're seated or standing. 30 seconds of this, bring it back down to a pause, and let's head into the trunk. First movement, first of all, base of support, heels outside of your hips, in line with your shoulders, so you've got that wider base. Have a look at those knees, look. Not locked, not bent, softened. Straight down, straight up with a pause. And then the other way. If your support's in front, you can change hand onto that support every time. If it's to the side, however, it comes into the support, back to the centre. You do it again. You do your 4 or 5 on that side, then you take as many steps as you need to turn. In seated, it's your bum you need to be aware of. It stays firmly on that chair. No lifting the buttocks as you come down to the side. If you lift the buttock, it means you can go a little bit further, but that's not what it's about. It's about lengthening through the side of the body, so it's about getting the best range of motion we can down through the side of the body. 4 or 5 on each side, using your legs as a guide. So not only are we coming straight down, straight up, but we try and use the seam of our trousers if we've got the trousers on, or shorts, or it could be the seam of your skirt, to see how far we go. Because over time, what we should see is an increase in that range of motion. And if you've got a chair with the legs that come straight down, we've got the ability to use the chair legs as well to give us a guide. Once you've done 4 or 5, take a pause. We're heading into the rotation here, so our trunk twist. Now, the important part here is the hips don't move. So it's not this movement here. We're trying to keep the bottom half of our body still. So those softened knees are really going to help here. We turn to the side. We pause in the centre, and we turn the other way. And it's just this upper part of the body that's moving. Support, again, you can change either side. Same with your side, you take it into the support and back. Seated, the bottom's going to tell us. If our buttocks stay firmly on that chair, we know we've got movement. No movement within our hips. If we feel the weight shifting from one to the other, then we know we have. So therefore, in standing, you could use your support as your reference point. So bottom against or hips against your support at the front. And then as you turn to the side, if you feel the hip lifting away or you feel the bottom lifting, you know you've got movement into your hip flexors, into your hips, sorry. We don't want that. Again, really important here. Make sure those knees stay softened because that's going to make it easier to try and keep these still. As soon as we've got a hard, solid, straight legs, it's easier for the hips to move and they want to naturally move, whereas here we can keep them isolated. 4 or 5 on each side, and once you've done them, let's head into our back, lower back. It's back extender time. Now the important thing here is that we don't lift back, so we don't tilt back, so we want to keep the pelvis still. The movement is to lift the chest and then extend back. Okay, so we lift the chest and we extend. Now again, in standing, you might want to use your support to give you that indication, because again, in seated, if I turn my chair sideways, I can feel whether I've got movement into my pelvis by the way that my bottom and my top part of my thigh is on that chair. But also I feel I get a better range of motion here because now old noggin here has only got to focus on this and hasn't got to focus on what the pelvis is doing as well. So it's easier for me. Man, can't multitask, can't do more than one thing. But I can, don't tell anybody. Right, once you've done your 4 or 5 of those, thinking, wow, you know, that's going to feel lovely into the lower back, especially if you haven't had any lower back pain. Take a pause and we're back into a circulation booster. Arms only this time, driving those elbows so we can start to make them a little bit bigger, look. Make it a bigger movement. That's what we're looking for, 30 seconds of bigger movement. We're heading into our ankle, feet and toes. Now, if standing is not on your radar and you're seated, you might want to choose one of the movements we've just done and go back over them. Alternatively, come with us. So let's bring this down a little bit after our 30 seconds, bring it to a pause and head into the ankle, feet and toes. Standing, use your support. It's not about balance, it's about getting that range of motion. Leg closer to the support, stay still, and the knee is soft. Another foot comes in, we put the toe on the floor, we lift and place the heel in the same place. We've got a splay of the toes, we've got a scrunch of the toes and a point. 4 or 5 on one side and then we change to the other side. In our seated position we can do exactly the same. We just need to adjust where our feet are to get that movement in. So there's our toe, there's our heel. Again, we've got the scrunch and the flare of the toes. Or you may wish to take a little option back into the chair. Extend your foot away in front, I'll do that one. Point the toes away, and here you can scrunch them. Bring them in towards the shin, and there's your flare of your toes. Now, pop your foot down every now and again if you need to. It's not about strength. And equally, make sure it stays close to the floor. Don't let it drift. We don't want to be working here. We want to get mobility into our ankle joint. Once you do 4 or 5 on the one side, change to the other. And this is why. So once we've finished those 4 or 5 on each side of the standing, we can bring it into this walk-through movement. The placement of the heel, rolling through onto the ball of the foot, coming up onto the toes on the back. That is that heel-toe action. That's why we mobilise. Feel the toes in your shoes or on the floor, spreading a little bit to grip the floor as well. That's why we do the splay and scrunch. There we go, that is our 8 AM movement snack for today. I'll be back with you on Wednesday. You've got Bex for 8 AM tomorrow morning, so I'm going to be out early. And I will see you Wednesday morning bright and breezy at 8 AM. Have a wonderful day. You know what to do. Keep active, keep mobilised, keep crowbarring, and have a good one. Toodles.